Uba. what's 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 going on, guys? So I know, and I put spoilers up, right? So there's gonna be spoilers. So let's dive in. So I've seen Black Klansman about two times at this point. And listen, I'll be honest with you. When it comes to Spike Lee, I honestly, for me personally, I can't say that I'm a fan. I have a tremendous amount of respect for Spike, but I've never personally been a fan. So that's number one. Two, I mean, for me personally, I think the best films that he's made is probably, like, for me personally, it's like Malcolm X and Inside Man. Where the hell is Inside Man? Christ, this was so long ago. Fuck. Where's Inside Man? It's on here fucking somewhere. I can't remember what year that. Oh. So yeah, Inside Man and Malcolm X. So prior to Black Klansman, I would have said that Inside Man and Malcolm X were his best films. Maybe, you know, honorable mention, Do the Right Thing, right? And then when Spike Lee put out Old Boy, this is where things, yeah, that was bad. Because, like, I have such a tremendous love for the original Korean film. So from that point all the way to Black Klansman, like, just that gap in between, it's just like, I didn't really enjoy what Spike was doing there. I will admit that I have not seen Spike Lee's documentaries. Like, I haven't seen the 25th Hour or whatever. So, like, there might be something, maybe if I watch his documentaries, I might be like, oh my god, 10 out of 10. But yeah, particularly in that gap, there's a lot that's there where I was like, yeah, Spike, not really for me, bud. But this film is exceptional, okay? Straight out. I mean, first off, the whole cast is just fantastic. The whole cast is fantastic. Denzel Washington's son is fantastic. Adam Driver is fantastic. This dude right here was so convincing. He was so convincing. Oh my god, like I could go on and on, but I mean, the acting was just tremendous. Just tremendous in this film. Like the way that this movie opens up, and we're seeing some old footage, which I don't know where it's from. Shit, I probably should have looked into that in my research. But yeah, the opening film footage, I'm not sure where that's from, unfortunately. But I can tell some film buff is going to go in the comment sections and be like, how could you not know where that was from? But yeah, I don't know. But either way, it was showing like Confederates or something like that, like a whole bunch of dead ones or something. And it was just like a field of like dead bodies. And then we segue into Alec Baldwin, who's like in some high school or something in the 70s. And he's like, there's these images, like a projector is projecting these images all over his face. And Alec Baldwin just gives us like one of the most disgusting and racist monologues I've heard in some time. And this is like just like the first 3 minutes of the film or something like that. And I was just like, some of the things that Alec Baldwin was saying was just so dark. Even though the sequence was like, I'm not sure if it was meant to be very, very darkly humorous in a way, because like there were certain moments where it's almost as if Alec Baldwin's character was like, someone was just feeding him lines of dialogue to say. Everything that he was saying wasn't things that were already, you know, premeditated for him to say in his mind. You know what I mean? Like, the things that he was saying, like, he would just be like, blah, blah, blah. It's like a speech preparation thing, but he would just be like, blah, 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 blah. And then those black monkeys. Is it black monkeys? Am I calling the blacks monkeys? I am? Okay, cool, thanks. So anyways, these disgusting black monkeys, now that they're, you know, he was just saying, that's how it was, you know, and I was like, was there supposed to be something humorous about that? Because that was kind of strange. But anyway, the opening to this film already feels classic unto itself. It's just so polarizing. It begs so many questions. And then we go straight into, let me see here. Yeah, we gotta go big screen here. So then we go straight into the beginning of the film, where we see our lead character. He's showing up to apply to join the police force, and like this moment is so strangely funny and is a perfect introduction to this character. I like this thing that he's always doing with his hair, always trying to make sure that his hair is kept and looking fine, looking fly. You dig? But yeah, fucking what's my boy's name? Jeez, I don't even know the boy's name. Oh yeah, John. Jesus, John Washington. Okay, he was fantastic. Everybody was just top notch in their performances, but he was so good. He's so good. His voice perfect. Like his voice perfectly fit the time, the 70s. Like this, like he had like a totally like a 70s style voice, and just like everything, he looked like someone just plucked his ass from the 70s. Like his performance was just outstanding. It was just full of great small nuances, and he was just shockingly believable to me. It was amazing to see him shift from being charismatic to trying to withhold emotions, even though you could tell, like, when he's withholding emotions, that the emotions are begging to burst out, you know. He's very funny as well. Like, I love that, like, while this isn't necessarily made explicitly clear in the film, but, like, I love that he's just like this, he's just like this silly guy. He's just like a regular guy, you know. He loves like kung fu movies probably, so like he's always busting out into like, wow, these kung fu moves and stuff. God, there's so much to pick apart with this movie. Like even in this sequence here, where he's just like, this is his job, and he has to go back here and pull out certain files that people request, and like people will come to the counter, like white male officers will come to the counter, police officers, and they'll be like, hey, got a toad, you know, I got another toad that I'm looking for, can you bring up his file? So he'll bring their files. But when they say toad, you know, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I was pretty sure from the research that I was doing that when they were saying toad, that was actually like a racial slur, or it was actually like kind of racist when they would say like, here's a toad. They're actually referring to like a black person as a toad, so it's like something racist. But yeah, like those sequences were just like, damn, you know. And then like even when we're just going all over the place as per usual. Where's that one sequence with where the fuck did I put it? I'd be taking so many goddamn pictures, but no! Did I not pull the picture? Fuck. God damn it. I don't think I pulled the picture, but anyway. My apologies. But anyways, at the beginning of the film, when they're talking to John Washington, there's this dude and there's this other black dude, and the black dude's like, so it's actually during this moment. I got that picture at least. Yeah, I got this one at least. But that officer that was just circling, yeah, him and this other black dude, they were talking to our main character during this moment, this scene right here, where they're like, so are you ready to take on this job? And he's like, you know what, I think I'm well qualified for your job. Whatever the fuck he was saying. But the black dude that was talking to John Washington, he was like, so let me ask you something, what if someone calls you a nigger? And then when John Washington was like, would that happen, sir? And when that black dude was just like, oh shit, goddamn. It was just so funny because like the black dude was like, goddamn right they're gonna call you a nigger. That was just so darkly humorous. Hold on, I gotta find that black dude because that's gonna bother me. What was his name? Or what was the actor? I thought I pulled this. Give me a second. Where? But yeah, that was just so jarring to me. Could you imagine, like, you're about to start working for the... What the fuck's going on? Wait, hold on a second, people. Hold on. Hold on. Where did the trailer go? I was just watching it. This is it, right? No. Alright. Alright, 3 seconds, people. But yeah, could you imagine, like, if you're working for... Like, you're applying for, like, a police force type of job, and you're black, and they're like, yeah, you know, there's, like, a 95% chance that you're going to be called the N-word a lot. And there might be some racists around you. Have you ever thought about that? That would be fun. I don't even know what I would say. Here we go. God. I did all that just to find this one black dude. Sorry. I thought I pulled this picture. My apologies. But this is the guy. This is the scene I was talking about. This scene cracked me the fuck up when he was like, you know, what if someone called you a nigger? What are you going to do about that? I was like, oh my God. That would be absolutely terrible. Sorry, I had to show that guy so you guys knew who I was talking about. Just in case someone got confused. Anyway. Rambling now. No, what? The hell's going on? Okay. Anyways, we went past that. So, yeah, that was just like, well, a jarring opening. And then we, of course, get to this moment here when he decides to call, which I thought was interesting. The way that we see him decide to call, like the realization the way that the realization hits his face. He's like, you know what? As crazy as this fucking sounds, I should probably do this, huh? I just thought that was just so fascinating. Him actually calling fucking like a Ku Klux Klan establishment or organization. Like, that's just so insane to me that he thought to do this. But when he calls out to, like, whoever, this white supremacy group, whatever, the KKK, when he calls out to him... First off, the dialogue was totally different from the trailer, because the trailer was kind of PG, but when you watch the movie, he's just like, or John Washington, or what's the character's fucking name? Ron Stallworth. Ron Stallworth. When he calls him, he's just like, yeah, you know, I just called to say that I really, you know, I really hate niggers, and you know, I'm racist as fuck. So, you know, if I could come on down. He was just saying, he said one thing in particular where he was like, you know, I really hate those black bastards. There's nothing better than just Aryan blood flowing through my veins, or some shit he was saying. You know, I really hate those nigger rats. I was like, oh my God. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. This scene right here, ladies and gentlemen, might just be one of the darkest comedic moments I've ever seen on screen, on screen, on film. Like, I cannot remember the last time. That was the most savagely hilarious comedic moment that I've seen in a long, long time. I mean, I was literally, because, like, in a way, like it's uncomfortable to laugh about. But there's no denying that it is just so darkly hilarious. I was laughing so hard, it was literally painful. It just, wow, that scene was just so eye-opening and just hysterical to me. It was just like, whoa, that just happened. Wow, what else can I say about this goddamn film? Okay, first off, fam, we gotta go big screen again. Because let me tell you something, Boyle. These motherfucking pigs right here, okay? Particularly this motherfucker and this I think his name was like Felix or some shit. Boy. First off, I hated this dude so much. I mean, there was like a sequence where his character, he's just like, oh, you know, Martin Luther King, that dead nigga. Like, he said something like that. And I remember just being in the theater just like, man, it was just so tough to watch. He was just so ignorant. This motherfucker just every time that motherfucker was on screen, I was just like, yo, it's just a goddamn shame people like that exist. And Boyle, let me tell you something. Boyle, this dude right here, I think his name was Felix. Let me double check. What's that his name? Um, Wait, what? Wasn't this racist dude's name? What's Felix? What's going on here? Hold on a second. I know damn well his character name was Felix, I thought. Yeah! Okay, I haven't lost my mind just yet. Yeah, his name was Felix. Wow. Wow. I hated Felix, okay? I hated him about as much as I hated Joffrey watching Game of Thrones, okay? Like, I hated Felix when he tried to have Adam Driver do the lie detector test and always making fun of him being a Jew. It's just like, what the fuck? And like, he was just always a dick. Oh my god, him and his creepy fucking racist wife was so creepy. Oh my god, when Felix was in the bed with his wife, and this bitch is just talking about some, oh my god, honey, we're finally able, we're gonna be able to kill them niggers, finally. I'm so happy that we're gonna be able to kill them. And then like, this man is just like, yeah, I can't wait until we kill those goddamn blacks, baby. Free at last. I'm not gonna exactly do what he was doing there, but it was just tough, man. It was just so hard to watch. Like, it was so fascinating and just utterly disturbing the way that I've never seen that before. Like, I've seen some crazy shit, like 12 Years a Slave, Detroit from Catherine Bigelow, or however you say her last name. I've seen some rough movies, man, with racist, tones, undertones, themes, whatever. But seriously, I've never seen a film like this before, where it's like you literally got insight into their minds, the minds of the KKK. Like, you actually, like, what's a good picture with these stupid sons of bitches? Oh, here we go. These fucking pussies. But yeah, this like, you actually are putting as the viewer, you're put into the headspace of these goddamn races. And you get to like look around for a little bit. And you almost get a sense of like what they probably were actually like, and that's just so terrifying to me. I mean, fam, this guy, I don't even remember the character's name, but this guy right here, yo, hold on. This motherfucker right here. I think this was the first person that Ron Stallworth spoke to on the phone. Oh my god. Like, okay, so when Adam Driver goes to meet this dude for the first time, like, this guy picks up Adam Driver in the truck, and they're like at some kind of bar, like shooting pool. This dude's just wearing like this white power t-shirt, and he's just like, yeah, I really enjoyed our conversations over the phone. I'm glad that you are against those goddamn blacks and those goddamn Jews, because we don't like them. And there's there's a scene with him where he's holding like a pool stick, and he's just banging on the ground, and every time he bangs that goddamn pool stick on the ground, he literally verbatim goes, niggers, 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 niggers. And it's just like, usually I got pretty thick skin when it comes to movies like this. For example, they had that what was that movie that had just insane language in it? Where, like, when you heard the language in the movie, you were just like, oh my god, what was that movie? And there's a movie this movie right here. Like, I got pretty tough skin when it comes to movies like this. I'm not usually this triggered. Like, for example, with this film, ooh, like, this movie, like, the language in this movie, it just gets bad. You're just like, Jesus Christ. But, I wasn't, like, flatlined or anything. I can handle it. Again, I got thick skin for movies like this. But for whatever reason, with BlacKkKlansman, Spike Lee just went deep as hell. This is such a visceral film-going experience. It's almost as if, like, Spike Lee was like, yo, I'm not wrapping up this film until everybody's triggered. Like, I'm not finishing this film until everyone who watches this is triggered at some point in time, because the usage of the N word alone is so overwhelming. Oh my god. Watching these racists speak amongst themselves, talk about plans. You just, I don't know. It was just so, it just blew my fucking mind. Like moments like this right here. You just get such an eerie, extraordinary insight into their mindset, you know? It's just so shocking how ignorant and creepy and just so lost these people are, you know? Like sometimes when they were speaking, I wasn't even mad. I was just I just felt so sorry for them, you know? They're just so mentally sick in my opinion. Like, how could you hate someone? I don't know, like when that one character, when he was like, you know, when he's making fun of Martin Luther King, you know, oh yeah, that dead nigga. I was just like, man, the movie cut so much deeper than I anticipated. The movie just cut so much deeper than I anticipated. Like honestly, I thought that, you know, from the trailers, I thought that like, okay, so this is gonna be like a kind of a Tarantino wannabe sort of film, you know. It's gonna be like a comedy. It's based on a true story, and yeah, I don't know, just something about the trailer. The marketing never got me. The only thing that really got me to watch this film, because again, I'm not a fan of Spike Lee, a lot of respect to him, but his films, I don't know. You know, for me, it's like when I'm looking for a movie to watch or I'm itching to watch a good movie, I just never, I personally, I just never dig into Spike Lee's filmography. It's just me. That's not to say that Spike Lee makes bad films, but yeah. Anyway, but yeah, this movie just impacted me so deeply that like I'm literally just getting lost in thought. By the way, Spike Lee did something really fascinating here. Give me 1 second here. Let me see. So like, Spike Lee would do something really fascinating. So like when we see like a group of blacks like representing like you know, like black power, he would often take moments like this, and he would connect moments like that to these moments where, you know, they would be like, you know, white power, white power, white power. I thought it was fascinating that he would crisscross the two, you know. Anytime that we saw like a black power meeting, he would like cut to there and cut back to a moment like this. So it's like when we were seeing like a white power moment, we would like, you know, we would go back to like a black power moment. So if we were looking at a scene like this and they're like white power, maybe seconds later we would cut to this moment here, black power. I don't know. I thought that was super fascinating. I'm not entirely sure yet what that's meant to imply, but I don't know. Maybe he's just showing how Spike Lee. He's just showing that, you know, there's a literal yin and yang thing going on between the two groups, I suppose. Very intriguing. There's just so much to unpack with this movie. Jesus Christ. Like, there's so much to unpack. Like, this scene right here blew my mind. Okay, this scene where we see this speech. Right? Now, for some reason, in my mind, I was like, okay, so Spike Lee's going to show us a quick montage and then we're going to leave. No. Like, literally, they just showed us his speech. Like, this literally felt like a 3 to 4+ minute long sequence of him just giving, like, he literally gave a whole speech, a whole monologue, talking about, you know, the black experience. What is that like at the current time? And he was talking about, you know, how there's a lot of injustice and there's a lot of racism when it comes to the police, and they're just, you know, he feels that like society or racists or the police, whichever, he feels that like blacks are being misrepresented, and that you know, the way that they're portrayed like in the news, and like in movies, or like in TV shows. He makes a fascinating. He goes on this fascinating tangent when he was talking about how he used to watch Tarzan, and I guess allegedly, you know, Tarzan would be stopping like the minorities, you know, or people who look like him, you know, treating them like trash. And he basically he kind of saw Tarzan as kind of like a bit racist in a way, and I don't know. And he's just talking about how, you know, like blacks should feel beautiful. You know, we have nappy hair, we have big noses, but we are beautiful. You know, no matter what anyone tells you. And just his speech was so emotive, so triggering, so relatable. Like there were a lot of things spookily that he was saying where I was just like, oh man, I kind of agree with what he just said. Or there were things that he was saying where it's like, oh my god, like, is he talking to me? It's almost like he's talking to me, because there's a lot of things that he was saying that I can relate to, or I feel where he's coming from. And was that the fact that Spike Lee? It's almost as if Spike Lee wanted young blacks like me to watch that speech and to be moved by it and to take something away. Because if that's what Spike Lee's intention was, that absolutely happened. I mean, well, first off, anyone watching this fucking speech, anyone watching this film, is going to be impacted. Or you're just not human, in my opinion. I don't know how anyone could watch this film and not feel a certain type of way. But that moment was truly hair-raising, because when we see Ron Stallworth watching that moment, you know, it's just like, what's going through his mind? I mean, clearly it's his job to be here and observe. But I swear, there were certain moments where he was watching the speech, and he's doing his job, but honestly, I felt like more so, I felt like he was actually listening to the speech, and I felt like he was actually being impacted. So when we cut to him listening to the speech, I felt like that speech really hit him hard, you know? Like we see this moment where he's almost hypnotized watching the speech, and then we see this moment where he's just like, yeah, Black Power, yeah. And I feel like that moment happened because, like, I felt like in his mind he was like, yo, like, this gentleman's really saying some shit. Yeah, I don't know. I love the chemistry between John Washington and Adam Driver. They legitimately felt like two people who just became like close friends. You know what I'm saying? Or who, yeah, like they just felt like two guys who, you know, like I don't know, their chemistry was just so perfect. Like they got along so perfectly. Their friendship at the workforce was so believable. Yeah. And I really love this moment right here where he's like, you know, he's saying like, you know, you're Jewish, you know, doesn't it bother you when doesn't it bother you when you're at these KKK meetings and stuff? And he's like, yeah, it bothers me, but I don't let it get to me personally. And that blows my mind. That blows my mind. It's insane. It's insane that like Adam Driver's, what was his character's name? Flip. Flip Zimmerman. It just blew my mind that Flip could just go to these KKK meetings and just go completely into character. Like there was one moment where Felix was calling Flip a Jew, and literally Adam Driver turns around and he's just like, "Are you trying to offend me, man?" And it's just like, it's just amazing how committed. It's just amazing how committed Flip was to his job as this racist character when he would go undercover. Like there was one moment where, I don't know if I have a picture per se. Let me see. Topher Grace. So there's a moment where Um, oh, actually, maybe it's easier if I show you. Give me 2 seconds. Because I know at least I have this picture. Let's go big screen for a second. So, like, this moment right here. Okay, so, yeah, he's got a guard over... He has to be the guard for Topher Grace, right? In that moment where he, like, as a detective, he takes a picture with Topher Grace, you know? Which I thought was really funny. But Adam Driver, he had to be... Or Flip had to be in character. So, straight up, when Flip saw Ron at that place, you know, and Topher Grace is just like 3 feet away, it's just insane that like Flip had to be like, hey nigger, why don't you do what you gotta do and get the fuck out of here, or whatever the fuck he was saying. Or even, oh my god, this part was just so dark. It's just so messed up. This moment, oh, please tell me I got a picture. Yeah! Oh no! When Adam Driver had to go to whoever's house it was, I think it was like Felix's house, I think, because the wife of Felix, but the wife of Felix, she was like passed around something, I thought. But anyways, so he goes into this house. Something goes wrong. Felix is trying to put the lie detector test on him. Ron causes a distraction. So they all run out of the house, right? They're chasing Ron down the street. And as he's chasing Adam Driver, as he's chasing Ron down the street, Adam Driver literally yells at Ron. He's just like, get the fuck out of here. Or he says, like, get out of here. Or he says something like, yeah, you goddamn, you fucking spear chucking nigger, get back here. Or he says something like that. And I remember just being like, like it was just so dark. Fuck, that was just so dark. It's just so dark that Flip had to be so committed to that character and just say those disgusting, horrible things. Like, I can't imagine. Could you imagine? No! Could you imagine, like, being undercover and you see your Jewish friend running away, and because the racists are behind you and because you're undercover, could you imagine your Jewish friend running away and you gotta be like, run away, you fucking kike! You fucking Jewish flower! Ah! Like, that's just so fucked up. Like, I don't know how I could get there. I don't see how I could go undercover and pretend to be racist. Like, that's just so mind-fucking to me. And, like, there was one moment... It's funny. By the way, fun fact, I was supposed to do the review for Mission Impossible and one other big video today. This might be my only movie review for today, because where are we at? We're already at 33 minutes. I'll try to squeeze out more videos today. But either way, more... Yeah, I can't talk today. More movie reviews are coming, but this might be the only one for today. Sorry. I'm getting passionate over here. We're 33 minutes into this damn... 33 minutes into this review. Goodness. But don't worry. If you're wanting more movie reviews, I promise, or just reviews and coming, in general, they're coming. All right. Yeah. Moving on. This moment right here, God, there's so many. This movie just hit me in the feels. It felt like every 3 minutes, I was viscerally emoting to something, whether it be something dark, something sad, something darkly hilarious. By the way, like, where is BlacKkKlansman? Let me see something. Man, people are just... It's crazy times we live in, man. It is crazy times that we live in. This picture right here, I actually had to pull off the fucking... the net here. Give me 1 second. No! Oh no! Why did that happen? Anyway. I just wanted to pull up this sequence here because I didn't really catch it in the trailer, but yeah, like this sequence right here, I love this sequence right here. Their friendship, their friendship was just so believable to me. They bounced off each other so well. I wanted to be friends with these guys. This guy was pretty cool too. But like, I love this sequence right here. It's just like a nice little heartwarming sequence. It's just such a surreal moment. The fact that he's about to like he's about to pretend to be a black Ron Stallworth, and he's pretending to be like a white Ron Stallworth, or like they're switching roles, and he's got Adam Driver's got stick to like this script, and like he literally has to come across as like this believable racist guy, or else he'll just get killed. Like, it's just so insane, such a surreal conversation, very mind bending in a way. Like, could you imagine having to do that? Like, fuck that shit, son. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Ron Stallworth, which I believe is still alive as well, and there's been interviews with him and stuff. Like, yo, that's wow. To think that this all like actually happened is just pretty fucking insane. Like, just insane. God, what else can I say about this movie? There's so much to say. I just thought this was such a brilliant film. Oh yeah, by the way, shout out to this guy and his performance. He was on Rescue Me. There's a show called Rescue Me with Dennis Leary. He was on there. Loved him on there as well. But yeah, I loved his performance. He was just so completely convincing as his character. Fantastic performance. I mean, there were fantastic performances all over the place. Like, I mean, this guy nailed it. Okay, this guy nailed it. Okay, they did such a good. I totally bought that they were racist. like without a doubt, just totally believed them. You know what I'm saying? This guy in particular, good God, this guy right here, totally believed that he was racist. Totally believed it. No. By the way, shout out to the cinematography in this moment. So in this moment, we see this tracking shot going sideways, and it's just like, no, Adam Driver, no. Dude, God, that must have been so horrible. Like, pretending to be this hateful person. Like, oh no. And then remember when this guy, hold on a second. Remember when this guy, he figures out that Flip is actually Flip. He's like, what the fuck? This guy actually put me away. That guy's actually Flip, I was like, oh fuck. Oh no. Oh yeah, one thing I was gonna say, I think I forgot to mention. So in this moment, they're watching The Birth of a Nation, and I cannot believe, like, straight up, fam, straight up, and particularly like in that scene, and then particularly in this sequence, I was just like, Jesus Christ, Spike Lee officially just gave shit, what's it called? Birth of a Nation, some shit, right? 1915. Spike Lee literally just gave this movie the middle finger. I just can't, like, I was just blown. That in itself is just extraordinary. Like, Spike Lee just straight up cinematically gave this movie the ultimate middle finger, calling out that this movie is like racist, and fuck the fact that it's a masterpiece. It's just racism in Spike Lee's perspective. And I was just like, what? My God, shots fired, fam. Shots fired. Okay, Spike Lee was not having it. He was just like, fuck Birth of a Nation. I don't care. I don't give a fuck if it has 100% Rotten Tomatoes. I don't give a fuck if people think of it as like this historical film that should be infinitely continue to be talked about and looked at with respect from like a technical point of view, blah blah blah. Spike Lee's like, no, fuck the technical achievements. Fuck the time that came out of. Spike Lee's just like, no, this movie's just racist. We're done. Like right here, it says, what does it say? Racial depictions aside, The Birth of a Nation is a landmark film whose achievements and pioneering techniques remain fully relevant today. What's just great is that in this movie, BlacKkKlansman, Spike Lee is just like, racial depictions aside, ain't no aside. In Spike Lee's words. And this whole moment right here, Spike Lee's just like, fuck that, it's racist. And I just thought that was just like a powerful thing to do, cinematically speaking, with BlacKkKlansman, which is to give The Birth of a Nation the ultimate middle finger. just like, whoa, Spike, he's just going so deep. Jesus, Spike, how is this not Spike Lee's best movie? How? Can someone explain this to me? How is this not Spike Lee's best work? Can someone explain that to me? Because Spike Lee just killed it. He just killed it. No. People are like, no. In fact, I'll take it a step further. Can you guys see me? I'll take it a step further. I think that this is Spike Lee's best film. I think this is going to go down as the best film that he ever put out. I think people will always look at BlacKkKlansman as like, you know, the tippy top of Spike Lee's filmography, the highest point, the peak. Because I don't. How is Spike Lee ever going to do better than a black police officer infiltrates the KKK? Period. How is Spike Lee ever going to do better than that? I don't think he will. I just don't. I mean, in all honesty, like, this movie is really just like a perfect culmination or amalgamation of everything that Spike Lee has done in his filmic past, his cinematic past. All right. By the way, shout out to Topher Grace for being a goddamn grand wizard or some shit for the KKK. I was just like, good God, that must have been difficult. What else can I say? Oh yeah, by the way, this sequence right here hit me in the feels. This scene hit me in the feels so hard, because the way that you see Adam Driver react, the way that you see him react to this card, because in this moment, Adam Driver, he's just like, you know, like, you know, when I was a kid, you know, I never thought too much about being Jewish. You know, I didn't do a lot of Jewish things, and now I'm attending these KKK meetings, and I'm denying who I am. You know, I'm literally like talking down to myself. I'm literally talking down to myself when I go see these KKK members. You know, and you could tell that in this moment, like in this one moment, you finally get a glimpse of just like how hurtful it must be for him to have to go and see these racist people. And for once, you finally get to see like the weight of these races, you know, on his body, on his consciousness. In that really sad moment where he's like, yeah, I don't want that. And he gives that KKK card back to Ron. Like, that sequence was just so powerful to me, you know. It's just a goddamn shame that we have people this ignorant in the world. It's just a goddamn shame. Like, this moment right here, this moment right here was just so eerie, you know, subtle, but like this moment was just so eerie, because it's just so fucked up, you know. The reason why he's acting like this, the reason why he's looking at this like this, it's just so fucked up, you know. It's just fuck, you know. Fuck. Anyway, just to wrap things up. First off, the cinematography is wonderful. It appears that there were portions shot on film. Could be wrong, but the film is just beautiful. It's just beautiful. Like, there's one sequence where Ron, he goes to meet with some guy, like an FBI agent or something like that, and this guy gives Ron Stallworth some documents, and Ron says something, and the person he's talking to is like, FBI? Sir, we never had this conversation. Yeah, like that sequence, oh, the shots of the water, the shots of the two cars from afar, the cinematography is there, is great there. The cinematography is fantastic all over this movie. It's just fantastic. It's so unique. It's so distinctive, so tactile. You don't get the sense that like there's just green screen everywhere, for example. It has that beautiful filmic look, like it looks like it was shot on film at some points. I just love the color palette. The movie stands out with the color palette and the cinematography. It stands out. It's distinctive. It's just really gorgeous to look at. Every frame is beautiful, to be honest with you. By the way, first off, this chick was so adorable in this film. Look, she was just so, oh goodness, she is just so adorable. Shit. Shit. And I loved her, her whole relationship with Ron was just so adorable to me. And it was really fucked up when she found out the truth about him being a police officer. It was just so much suspense. Ugh. I really felt for these characters. This moment, this whole sequence was so beautifully shot, and it was shot like, this moment was shot in such a dreamy way that literally I had no idea that these two were in the frame. Like, it took me a few moments to realize that these two were in the frame, and they were just far away back here walking forward. That's how dreamy and surreal this shot looked on screen. This moment was just a beautiful moment. It's just a wonderful romantic little moment between them. And there's this shot where you see like a poster, like a vintage poster of Superfly, and you see like another vintage poster of some black 70s film. I can't remember. But you see like these. You see a poster right here, you see a poster right here, you see the same sequence, and you see the two of them in the middle. That shot was beautiful. I love that shot. It's like one of my favorite still images from the film. Like, if I could pause the movie during that moment and take that screen cap, one of my favorite images from the film, one of my favorite sequences from the film. There's just so much symbolism there, Also, it's like, when you see the two posters, those two posters are like whole universes unto themselves. Like, with Superfly, what's it called? Superfly? Right? Is that what the movie was called? I think it was called Superfly. Oh, no, not that version. What the fuck? I'm not talking about the 2018. I'm not talking about the 2018 version. The hell's wrong with you? This moment. So we saw a poster for this Superfly, right? It's like Superfly, that's such a a popular film, cult classic, whatever you want to call it, very popular. That's like a world unto itself, right? And then like in the middle of the image, we see Ron Stallworth, who like he's a police officer pretending to be like a construction worker, and then we have this chick. Who's like part of the Black Power movement, not knowing that Ron is in the police force. It's just like, so yeah, just one of the reasons why I love that one image from this sequence. That's why I love it so much. There's just so much to unpack, There's just so many visual metaphors in this film. Boy, Spike Lee just killed it. He just killed it. It's like, this movie's a 10 out of 10. It's just a 10 out of 10. This sequence right here, fam. Okay, this dance sequence, the music, it's so perfect. This sequence is so dreamlike. It's so hypnotizing. It just makes you feel so good, because everything that happened prior to this was just, it just fills you with so many like fucked up emotions that, like, I love this moment. That's another thing. Some people, when it comes to, like, first off, clearly, I don't have any substantial negatives with the film. Some people, one criticism that I see that's very popular is that the film is too long, or there are certain scenes that drag on. I don't feel that way. I don't feel that way at all. I thought the pacing was perfectly appropriate, especially considering just how vile and fucked up moments get. Like, for example, like this dance sequence. Like, I get it. I get why he chose to have this dance sequence be as long as it was, because honestly, it was kind of needed for me. Shit, it was nice to have a little moment of breath, a little moment of relaxation. And seriously, this sequence was so convincing. It It was so dreamlike. It felt like we were actually in the 70s. That even by the way, when they first meet for the first time, it's done in one sequence outside of the building where okay, so right before this happens, outside of the building where this takes place, this chick and our main character, when they meet for the first time, that sequence, that conversation is done in one take. And it's beautiful. It's just a gorgeous moment. A gorgeous moment. I had to shout that scene out. When they meet for the first time, it's done in one take. It's done outside. It's done at night. It's such a beautiful, thought-provoking one take. Good Lord. But anyway, yeah, this dance sequence was so dazzling to me and so hypnotizing that when it ended, it literally felt like a roller coaster ended. Like I literally had to be like snapped out of that dream sequence. I was like, oh, dream sequence or that dancing sequence. That dancing sequence is over with. All right, back to the fucked up movie. You know, like, boy. Yeah, I'm definitely not gonna have time for too many other videos here, but that's okay. But that's fine though, because I wanted to get deep into talking about wait, hold on a second. Hold on, guys. Hold on a second. We got to check Twitter for a second because I just saw something that cannot be accurate. I'm just gonna double check. That can't be right, right? Wait, no. Oh, okay. Oh my God. I'm sorry for that slightly awkward moment, but it just said that Tom Cruise is following you, and for a moment, I was like, I know damn well that ain't the real Tom Cruise. It's not on Twitter. Boy, why do people do that? Like they have the same thumbnail as the official Tom Cruise Twitter account. I hate when, get away from me. I hate when people do that shit. I thought that was the real Tom Cruise following your boy for a second. I was supposed to be like, is that my boy Tom? Anyway, by the way, now you know. If Tom Cruise ever decides to follow me on Twitter, that's gonna be my reaction. I'm gonna be, is that my boy Tom? Shit. Anyway, moving on. What else can I say about this film? I wasn't planning to go in. Here's what's weird. I was only trying to go maybe like 12 minutes, but I really felt some type of way about this movie. This movie was overwhelming for me, as you can see. Like, oh God. Also, so there was like a racist cop. And I love when they got that cop at the end, you know? Like when Ron Stallworth, he was like, yeah, I got it. Hey, babe, do you got it? Yeah, you got it. Hey, Adam Driver, do you got it? Oh, yeah, I got it. Hey, Chief, do you got it? Oh, yeah, I got it. You're under arrest, buddy. I love that moment. It's just such a feel-good moment. And it's just so needed, you know? But seriously, guys, when we get to the ending, which currently this is my favorite ending of the year so far. The opening, the intro to this movie, like the opening 3 to 5 minutes, is my favorite. Anyway, so far. But yeah, the ending is my favorite ending so far. And seriously, when Ron, well, first off, when there was the budget cuts and they had to pull the plug on the investigation, that was just so fucked up. And then when Ron and his girlfriend, basically, when they hear a knock at the door, they go to respond to the knock, but no one's there. And then we see Spike Lee's classic what does he call that shit? Spike Lee. Oh, no. Spike Lee. He's got this what's it called? Yeah, so you know those famous dolly shots that Spike Lee utilizes. There's a certain term for them. What do they call that shit? It's something. I can't think of what it's called off the top of my hand. But there's certain dolly shots that Spike Lee will do. I'm trying to find the technical term. I don't know if I can find it in time. I know I wrote it down, but anyway, they hear a knock at the door. They go to respond, but no one's there, right? And all of a sudden, the film just jumps off the tracks and jumps into surrealism. And this sequence, the way that it's technically being executed, it's just simply just a little trademark kind of shot that Spike Lee does, and what like all of his movies, where like they're being these two characters, they're being levitated forward, right? It's almost like they're gliding through the air, and then when we cut to what they're seeing, and what they are seeing is they're looking at the end of the hallway in a window, and through that window you can see a burning cross, and then suddenly we're at the burning cross, and we see a close-up of one Klansman, and we see like the burning cross on his eyeball. I'm a little bit curious why the movie put emphasis on this one particular Klansman. Curious, but and then out of nowhere we jump from surrealism to going just full meta. We're going full meta when we see, snippets of speeches from Donald Trump, and we're seeing like actual footage from Charleston. What was it? What was that? Last year in Virginia, right? Let's see. Yeah, and we literally got like real footage from like this, like moments like this. Like we got real footage from moments like this, and like people clashing with these tiki torch carrying bastards. You remember that the goddamn racists were walking around holding tiki torches and shit, and Donald Trump as Spike Lee, did he say this? Yeah, Spike Lee said this verbatim. Spike Lee was like, Donald Trump, he had an opportunity to denounce these racists, and he didn't. It just, there's so much to unpack with the ending of this movie. But the ending of this movie, it just went straight from surrealism to just full meta, and then just cut the feed. I was just like, whoa, because it shows that even though this movie takes place in the 70s, there's so many things happening in this film that are still happening today, like in Virginia last year with that racist march with the tiki torches. It's like, how far have we actually come? Spike Lee, he said, we gotta do better when it comes to racism. The fact that it exists, trying to stop it. We gotta do better. That's essentially what he was saying with the ending of this film, and maybe with this whole film. I mean, maybe you could say this whole film is simply just about, we gotta do better as people, as a nation, as a society, as human beings. We have to do better. I read somewhere, and somebody was talking about the concept of like, what if the KKK never goes away? What if the KKK never goes away? What if they're always going to be here? I mean, for fuck's sake, they've already been with us since the 1800s, and they're still here now. What if they're always with us? When we see the two main characters. By the way, this is my favorite moment in the film, and this is my favorite shot in the film. Also, isn't there some kind of short story, right? Isn't there some kind of short story about a man who's he's the last man on Earth? He knows he is, but suddenly he hears a knock at the door. Is this moment speaking to that concept a little bit? I know Spike Lee said that he's leery of what interpretations people are meant to take away, but there's so much to unpack here. The way that this moment is shot specifically had to have been done in film. The way this moment is shot in particular is just so haunting, so eerie, because to me, the reason why they're being levitated towards the burning cross, to me, that's meant what we're meant to grasp from that is that maybe we will always be fighting the KKK. Maybe we will always be fighting racist people. Maybe we will always be fighting evil. Um, or maybe racism will always be with us as humans. I mean, look how long it's already been with us. It's still here. I mean, granted, I think that we've extraordinarily improved since the 1970s, but it's just like, god damn. Like, when she, where is she? So when she gets, when she got pulled over and that racist cop was like feeling her up and calling him the N word, and it's like, fuck, moments like that are, mm, moments like that are still happening. Wow. Um, yeah, but that moment of them levitating down the hallway was just goosebumps inducing. It's just so deep. There's so much more that I want to unpack from there. Maybe in a future video. Fuck, I'm probably gonna do another video about this. Just talking about that one sequence. There's so much to interpret there. My personal opinion. And then the triggering ending of the film. You know, seeing people getting run over for real. It's not a joke. You know, the way that the movie went from fiction to real life was just totally blew my mind. I mean, I hope that this movie gets the reception and the positive feedback that Get Out got, and then some, and then triple some. You know, like I like to Get Out, but personally, the kind of effect that I think Jordan Peele was hoping to have, Spike Lee did that, and then some. Like Spike Lee he just went so far beyond my expectations. This is a masterpiece. Uh, Definitely, like right now, I've already solidified like 6 films that are more than likely going to be in my top 10 list for the year. We'll see, you know. But yeah, I just don't see how I finish my top 10 list for this year, and BlacKkKlansman is not on it. Hell, this might already be my favorite film of the year. I just think from a technical, uh, from a technical and narrative execution, from the execution of the cinematography, the color palette, the score, the soundtrack, the acting. This is the smartest, the sharpest, the most profound, the most darkest, the most hilarious. This is the hardest that Spike Lee has ever hit. This is my favorite film from him, probably indefinitely. Spike Lee killed it, because with this film, I just can't help but think that, like, even if you were not a fan of Spike Lee, how do you not love this movie? The craftsmanship is just so strong, so meticulous. You can feel it, you can see it. You know, it just, you really could tell that Spike Lee put some deep thought into it. And there's so many deep concepts to unpack from this. So yeah, I don't think that I have anything particularly. I don't think I have anything else more to add. Not to mention, we've been going for like an hour. I think I'll just leave off with I love when Ron was just like, oh yeah, well guess what? This whole time, like when he was talking to when he was talking to Topher Grace. Oh, by the way, that thing that Topher Grace said, like, oh yeah, yeah, I know when I'm talking to a man or a nigger, because when you're talking to niggers, you know, like they pronounce things wrong, you know, like a regular white man would just say R, like the letter R, he would pronounce it as R. You know, when these goddamn N words, they would just say aura. I was like, or that one scene where Ron was talking to Topher Grace, and Ron was in character, and he's like, yeah, I once knew this. I was once friends with this black kid. His name was like Butter Biscuit or some shit, and just that whole moment was just like, it's like, bro, like Ron just made that up, bro. Like when Topher Grace was just like, yeah, laughing at blacks and. Mm. Anyway, but I do love that sequence where was it? Ron finally calls. He calls Topher Grace, and he's just like, "Guess what? You've actually been talking to a black guy this whole time." Essentially, is what he said. But yeah, that moment was just so fantastic for me. You could tell that Topher Grace was just like, when that phone call ended, like, Spike, my hat's off to you, my friend. You killed it. Who was that director that was going off on Spike? I was like, what are you talking about? No, Spike Lee killed it. Killed it. I don't think I have anything more else to add. It's a 10 out of 10. But what'd you think about this? Whew, we went long. Shit. I don't have any more time to upload. Well, more reviews coming, but we went long. What'd you think about this film? Personally, I'm feeling a 10 out of 10. It's a masterpiece. 10 out of 10. This is a masterpiece. What'd you think about this film? Let me know your thoughts down below. Definitely make sure to smash that like button and subscribe as well, and make sure to hit that bell notification so that you don't miss anything. If you're on if you're on a mobile device, make sure to hit that bell notification so you don't miss anything. I'm out. I'm starting to stammer in this bitch. Christ, we out.